Today's video is brought to you by Onyx Off-Road.
So we're on one of the trails that we were on in Arkansas last year. We were here in spring last time. Now it's the beginning of September. We're getting closer to fall, so it's very dry here. But this is a trail that we've done before. I'll put a link for our video last time we went up this. Some of this footage will show up in like an adventure video at some point. But for now, we're just testing out the Trailhunter because we really haven't gotten the chance to be on the trails that much because we had this thing gone for almost a month getting some work done by the guys at Finish Line in Grand Junction for PPF, paint protection film. And then Goose Gear had it for a while, and then we've been at expos and stuff, but we're finally getting a chance to get out and wheel this thing. We do have 35s on here. We're not aired down though. We're gonna do this today, and we're gonna use the multi-terrain select and just get some footage of this thing flexing out. The 35s are pretty close. I would like to get a little bit more lift because while you can fit a 35 with basically no modifications on the Trailhunter, the rear especially could use a little bit more, and I wish Toyota would have given us a heavier spring because this thing is designed to carry weight. The suspension rides beautifully, but it could use some more lift in the rear. So I wish there was like an option for the Old Man Emu suspension where you can get a bigger spring or a stronger spring and swap those out, because that's something I'm gonna need to do in the near future. But for now, this thing has been awesome. It's a different experience. Obviously, it's longer. We are on a bigger tire than the FJ by about 1.5 inches, but still it's a longer wheelbase vehicle. This is gonna be a simple video. It's just gonna be a little bit of off-roading, but I know a lot of you have been waiting for this specifically, so let's get into it. Yeah, you're good. So last time we did this a few minutes ago, we needed the rear locker for it. Now we are using traction control a little bit to your driver's side, left side. A little bit more driver.
So we don't have any previous experience with crawl control. Our 2007 FJ Cruiser certainly doesn't have it, although it does have a track, which is similar.
You can go over whatever, you can go whatever.
We have crawl control set at the lowest possible speed. No matter if you're going up or down, it maintains the same speed, and the tires seem to feel out for slippery conditions. When you're in crawl control, you can accelerate or brake at any time you want, and as soon as you let off of whichever pedal that you're using, it will resume back to whichever speed you have selected for crawl control. And there are 5 different speeds to choose from. Many have painted crawl control as just a gimmick, but I like to learn from my own experiences, so as I get to use this thing, I will share my thoughts on crawl control in a future video. I do have a feeling that crawl control is something that people will need to learn to love in these new Toyotas either way. Even though these newer generation Toyota trucks have high angle, high torque CV axles, hammering on the skinny pedal to get up an obstacle is no longer going to be a viable option. These hybrid powertrains achieve nearly double the torque of past generation Toyotas, and it achieves it at 1700 RPM. It's a lot of power that could break a lot of expensive parts if abused. Crawl control can likely be the workaround in these scenarios. A huge thank you to Onyx Off-Road for sponsoring this channel. Since the last time I was in Arkansas, Onyx Off-Road appears to have way more trails for this state. Using this app with CarPlay, especially on this huge Toyota screen, makes it super easy to find places to explore.
Well, that dust is in focus.
And since the Arkansas maps have been updated, next year I will definitely be checking out some of the new trails and planning some new routes to explore. This trip will be one of my upcoming story-based adventure videos, so like and subscribe to see it as soon as it releases. Those videos do take a tremendous amount of time to edit though, and many of you are wanting to see this truck in action, so I don't want to make you wait until winter to get some of the shots. Okay, so Natalie learned a few new things about the truck on the way down this trail.
Well, it's actually on the way up because we went through the obstacle, the camera wasn't ready, so I actually backed through it, and we realized that crawl control works when you're reversing, which makes sense that it would, but at the same time we both didn't realize that it would do that, and which was really cool. And then also we learned that we didn't need our lockers when we had crawl control on, which was pretty awesome because we had to use the rear locker on the way up, and with crawl control we didn't have it on and we didn't need it. We got up it just fine. Yeah. And back down it just fine, and then down it again just fine.
It's nice that it keeps you at a certain speed. However, it is using the brakes. So from like in Colorado, I don't know how much I'll be able to use that. I'll still have to use engine braking like normal because even though the traction control is rapidly hitting your brakes and letting it move a little bit, it's still going to warm your brakes up. So with that being said, something else we've noticed on this trip, the base cheapest Tacoma has one brake package, the non-hybrids have another brake package, and the hybrids have an even bigger brake package. I expected it to be a very significant braking system, but what we noticed on the way here is with the 35s, we do notice that it has, it definitely has an increased braking distance, and more so than I remember noticing on the FJ a long time ago when I modified it. I mean, I know the 35 is a heavy tire, this is a mud tire, but still, it was very, very noticeable. So
yeah, it's a tiny bit of a learning curve when I first got in the seat because last time I drove it, we didn't have these tires on, so.
Yeah, and so the reason I say that is because the multi-terrain traction control systems, when you're going down something, it's turning more weight, braking more weight. So your brakes are going to heat up even faster. This sun glare on this camera is drastic. All right, sorry about that sun flare on there. But yeah, so on that trail, we didn't feel any rubbing. Did you feel any rubbing from the tires? I didn't hear any.
I did not feel any.
We flexed out pretty good. It's not saying that it's fully articulated and with the tires turned or anything like that, so we'll learn more in the future, probably more so in Utah. But it was still fun to take it on something. We did have the stabilizer bar, the sway bar, disconnected for that trip, or for that little trail. So it was fun to get to use all this stuff, and we just wanted to test it out, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun to get to finally use this thing, go on a trip with this thing. This truck is filthy inside and out. It is covered in dust. The dust is worse here in Arkansas right now than it is in Moab, which is insane to me. It is everywhere.
I don't know about worse, but definitely the same.
Yeah, and our air compressor doesn't work, so I can't blow everything off. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, so I just want to do a video on actually off-roading this. The trip videos will come out. They take longer to edit, so I wanted to give you guys something in the meantime. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
As always, thank you so much for watching, and click one of the videos in the corner to check out more of our adventure, off-road, and overland related content.